According to the International Labour Organization, 2.8 million workers die every year, with more than 6,500 fatalities every single day as a result of occupational accidents, injuries, or work-related diseases. Alone in United States, about 2,000 workers sustain a job-related eye injury that requires medical treatment. However, 90% of these accidents can be avoided by wearing eye protection. There are more than 1.1 million hand injuries, 1.5 million head injuries, and 60,000 foot injuries. Those can also be avoided, or this figure can be minimized to a greater extent by using personal protective equipment. Dear friends and fellows, this is the statistics of United States of America. America that is the champion of technology, that is the champion of inventions, that is the champion of safety standards, and that is the champion of safety procedures. You can easily imagine how miserable conditions might be in the rest of the world. You are watching Safety First, and today's HSC tutorial's topic is personal protective equipment. How to use personal protective equipment to protect workers from harm, to protect workers from accidents, to protect workers from injuries, and to protect workers from work-related diseases, not only to protect workers, but also but also to protect their families from sufferings and deprivation. I'm your host, Javed, and you are watching Safety First. Let us look which OSHA standard is related to personal protective equipment. 29 CFR 1910.132. It indicates assess the workplace to determine if hazards are present. Select and provide appropriate personal protective equipment that fits each affected employee, and train employees on how to use personal protective equipment correctly. These are the requirements of OSHA standard that is related to personal protective equipment. Why personal protective equipment is required? Why it is necessary? Employers must protect employees from hazards such as falling objects, harmful substances, and noise exposures that can cause injury. Employer must use all feasible engineering and work practice controls to eliminate and reduce hazards. Use personal protective equipment if the controls don't eliminate the hazards. Remember, PPE is the last level of control. Personal protective equipment must be provided when necessary by reason of hazards encountered that are capable of causing injury or impairment. PPE is not a substitute for engineering, work practice, and administrative controls. PPE creates barrier between hazard and the route of entry. Use of personal protective equipment doesn't eliminate the hazard. So if the equipment fails, the exposure occurs. Personal protective equipment must be worn to provide protection. Prior to jump deep in the session of PPE, let us find what is the meaning of engineering controls. If the work environment can be physically changed to prevent employee exposure to the potential hazard, then the hazard can be eliminated with an engineering control. For example, initial design specifications, substitute with less harmful material, change process, enclose process, or isolate the process. What are the work practice controls? If employees can change the way they do their jobs and the exposure to potential hazards is removed, then the hazard can be eliminated with the work practice control. Work practice control examples are job rotation, work method, personal hygiene, or housekeeping, and maintenance. Employer has to assess workplace for hazards. Employer has to provide personal protective equipment to the employees. Employer has to define and decide or determine when to use the PPE. Employer has to provide personal protective equipment training for employees and instruction in proper use. What are the responsibilities of employees? Employees have to use PPE in accordance with the training received and other instructions. Employees have to inspect their PPE on daily basis and maintain in a clean and reliable condition. Prior to issue the PPE, hazard assessment is the basic and number one part. The employer must assess the workplace to determine if hazards are present that necessitate the use of personal protective equipment. Hazards encountered may include chemical exposures, falling or dropping objects, particulates, temperature extremes, light radiation, moving equipment and parts, sharp objects, etc. As per the OSHA standard, for the selection of PPE, protects each employee from identified hazards, is of safe design and construction, is sanitary and reliable, provides each employee with a good fit, meets American National Standards Institute or other similar applicable approved HSC standards. Those are applicable in different countries in different part of the world. Let us look what is the PPE training requirements. If employees are required to use PPE, they need training. What PPE is necessary, why it is necessary, how it will protect them, what are its limitations, when and how to wear it, how to identify signs of wear, how to clean and disinfect, and what is its useful life and how is it disposed of. PPE training is also necessary when there are changes in the workplaces, changes in types of PPE to be used, inadequacies in an affected employee's knowledge or use of assigned PPE indicate that the employee has not retained training. If there is an accident, and accident investigations indicate and recommends that the employee was not properly trained to wear such PPE, then also the personal protective equipment training is mandatory and it shall be carried out. Prior to select the PPE, it is mandatory to know the routes of exposure. Routes of exposure are inhalation, skin absorption, ingestion, and injection. Knowing the hazards and how to protect yourself is the key to your safety. Create a barrier. Dear friends and fellows, let us look what are the types of PPE. Eye and face protection, respiratory protection, head protection, foot protection, electrical protective devices, hand and arm protection, hearing protection, fall protection, and body and skin protection. This is from head to feet, all the body and the different parts of the body, all required personal protective equipment means protection against hazards. Now we will go one by one. How to protect the eyes and what are the dangers those can harm the worker's eye. When must be eye protection be provided? Dust and other flying particles such as metal shavings or sawdust, corrosives, gases, vapors and chemicals, acids or caustic liquids, molten metal that may splash, potentially infectious materials such as blood or hazardous liquid chemicals that may splash, intense light from welding and lasers. Do you know thousands of people are blinded each year from work-related injuries? With eye or face protection, injuries can be prevented. One incident is all it takes. What is the eye protection criteria for the selection of personal protective equipment? Protects against specific hazards, comfortable to wear, doesn't restrict vision or movement, durable and easy to clean and disinfect, doesn't interfere with the function of other required. Whenever someone is going to select the proper effective eye protection, he or she must consider all these points. Safety glasses made with metal or plastic safety frames. Most operations require side shields used for moderate impact from particles produced by jobs such as carpentry, woodworking, grinding, and scaling. Goggles protects eyes and area around the eyes from impact, dust, and splashes. Some goggles fit over corrective lenses. Laser welding safety goggles protects eyes from intense concentrations of light produced by lasers. For face protection, face shields are required. It protects face from dust and splashes or sprays of hazardous liquids. Doesn't protect from impact hazards. And wear safety glasses or goggles underneath. Welding shields protects eyes against burns from radiant light. It protects face and eyes from flying sparks, metal sputters, and slag chips produced during welding, brazing, soldering, and cutting. Dear friends and fellows, let us discuss the respiratory protection. Prior to choose respiratory personal protective equipment, let us look what are the hazards. It might be dust, fogs, fumes, mists, gases, smoke, sprays, and vapors. Respiratory protection required when employees are in areas where effective engineering controls are not feasible to protect the health of the employee from harmful dust, fogs, fumes, mist, gases, smokes, sprays, or vapors. Inhalation of hazardous materials damages delicate structure of the lung. Damaged lungs are more susceptible to respiratory disease, and it is the most direct route to the bloodstream. Exposure levels exceed the PEL, permissible exposure limit. During installation of engineering or work practice controls, maintenance and repair activities that may result exceeding the PEL, permissible exposure limit. Emergency response where type and or concentration of contaminant is unknown. And lastly, it is required for voluntary usage. What are the types of respirators? Air purifying and supplied air, like SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus, are for emergency escape, emergency life supporting equipment. One thing here is required to remember: with SCBA, you can fight the incident. With emergency life support equipment, you have to evacuate the area as early as possible. Let us discuss the prerequisites for respiratory protection. Medical exam, selection based on hazard, fit testing, facial air, inspection of equipment, specific training on operation and limitations. Dear friends and fellows, you are watching Safety First, and today's topic is personal protective equipment, the selection, the usage, and effectiveness of PPE in our daily site activities, site operations. Now we are going to cover head protection. What are the causes of head injuries? Falling objects such as tools, bumping head against objects such as pipes or beams, and contact with exposed electrical wiring or components. Head protection is required when employees are in areas where there is a potential for injury to the head from falling or moving objects, or when they are exposed to electrical conductors which could be contacted by the head. Head is the most critical part of the body. Injuries to the head could involve your brain, eyes, nose, and mouth. For this reason, head protection and safety are very, very important. The potential hazards might be electrical shocks, head impact, splashes, spills, and drips. Due to the electrical shocks, accidents result in shocks and burns from head impact. Falling or flying objects cause sprains and fractures. With splashes, spills, and drips, materials can irritate and burn eyes and skin. How to protect the head? By choosing the right type of hard hat safety helmet. There are three classes: Class A, Class B, and Class C. Let us look what is Class A hard hat. It is used for general service, building construction, or shipbuilding, etc. It protects from falling objects but limited electrical shocks up to 2200 volts. Class B hard-hat, it protects from falling objects and electrical shocks and burns up to 20,000 volts. It is more effective, more feasible, more safe. Class C hard-hat, designed for comfort, offers limited protection. It protects against bump from fixed objects, but not designed for use around live electrical wires, corrosives, or falling objects. Whenever someone is going to select the hard hat, he or she must consider the nature of task, the nature of the location, and the nature of operation. Safety helmet provides limited protection by reducing the force of small falling objects striking or penetrating the top of the shell. Doesn't provide front, side, or rear impact of the penetration protection. Inspect daily for signs of dents, cracks, penetrations, and any damage due to impact, rough treatment, or wear. And if it fails inspection, remove from service and demand for the new and workable one. Let us look how to prevent foot injuries. Foot protection is required when heavy objects such as barrels or tools that might roll onto or fall on employees' feet, sharp objects such as nails or spikes that might pierce ordinary shoes, molten metal that might splash on feet, hot or wet surfaces, or slippery surfaces. The potential hazards for the feet might be impact injuries, spills and splashes, compression injuries, electrical shocks, slipping, or heat or cold means the extremes of temperature. While choosing the foot protection, keep in your mind impact resistant toes and heat resistant soles protect against hot surfaces common in roofing and paving. Some have metal insoles to protect against puncture wounds, may be electrically conductive for use in explosive atmospheres, or non-conductive to protect from workplace electrical hazards. Conductive protection minimize static electricity and protection against punctures and penetration. In addition, you have to think about slip resistant soles compatible with environment, assure proper fit, inspect for cuts, tears, cracks, worn soles, and other damage, and care for footwear according to the manufacturer recommendations. Dear friends and fellows, you know the electricity is beneficial as well as lethal. Electrical protective devices are required when employees are in the areas where there may be exposure to substantial electrical voltage. Rubber is considered best material, must comply with American National Standard Institute requirements for rubber insulating gloves, matting, blankets, hoods, line hose, and sleeves. And lastly, arc flash PPE. Let us look how to protect hands from injury. The possible hazards to the hands or fingers might be burns, bruises, abrasions, cuts, punctures, fractures, amputations, and chemical exposures. There is a variety of hand protective equipment. available in the market. You have to consider durable gloves made of metal mesh, leather, or canvas. Protects from cuts, burns, heat. Fabric and coated fabric gloves protects from dirt and abrasion. Chemical and liquid resistant gloves protects from burns, irritation, and dermatitis, and rubber gloves protects from cuts, lacerations, and abrasions. Potential hazards for hands or fingers might be traumatic injuries, contact injuries, or repetitive motion. Selection of the gloves or clothing is dependent upon the type of hazard. Check MSDS or SDS safety data sheet for guidelines for chemical hazards. Not every job requires gloves as they can become a hazard. Allergies, latex, powder, clothing, and jewelry can also become hazards. Choose compatible material as no one material is suited for all chemicals, may be well suited for one and dangerous for another. Always follow manufacturer's chemical resistance guidance. Be careful with the chemical combinations, decontamination versus disposal, personal hygiene and wash up. Thickness of the gloves consider required sensitivity and flexibility required to do the job. Thinner material will sacrifice chemical resistance, length and finishes and linings. Let us discuss how to avoid hearing loss. Hearing loss is a common workplace injury, all too often ignored because it usually happens gradually over a period of time. Workers may suffer permanent hearing loss due to exposure to loud noise without pain, hearing protection worn incorrectly, all the site activities, either carpentry works, masonry, primer, forming, sheet metal, ironwork, boilermaker, or heavy machine operation, all having noise level more than 85 dBA. When it is not feasible to reduce the noise or its duration, use ear protective devices. Ear protective devices must be fitted after implementing engineering and work practice controls. When an employee's noise exposure exceeds an 8-hour time-weighted average TWA, hearing protection is mandatory. What are the examples of hearing protectors? It might be ear muffs, ear plugs, ear defenders, or canal caps. Hearing protection required. The sounds in your work area are irritating. Your voice must be raised to be heard by someone closer than 2 feet away. Signs requiring use for sound levels above 85 dBA TWA, time weighted average, 8 hours shift. Double hearing protection required once the sound level exceeds 104 dBA. No exposure above 140 dBA peak or impact. This is the value when there is no use of any hearing protective device. 140 dBA. Earplugs offer the most protection. To insert disposable type properly, roll plug into a small diameter. Place it well into the ear canal. Pull the air up and back as you insert the plug, and hold the plug in the air for a few seconds to allow expansion. This is the way how you will use earplugs. Ear muffs are only as elective as their seal. Limitations include facial hair can decrease protection by breaking the seal, and wearing eyeglasses and earrings can pose a similar problem. To ensure proper protection of your ear, earplugs and ear muffs may be worn together, double hearing protection. Keep in mind that hearing protection may block out sounds you may need to hear, such as voices and alarms. Fall protection is another hazard, and that is very common and number one cause of fatalities. It is required when risk of falling at heights of 6 feet or greater, when area not guarded or protected by other fall protection measures. Work at any height in aerial lifts, powered platforms, and similar equipment. By using full body harness with double lanyard and a compatible anchorage point as per the specified safe work procedures and standards, a worker can proceed safely at heights. If you are interested to learn in depth about the fall protection and working at height, kindly click the link appearing on your screen. Dear friends and fellows, let us discuss how to protect the body from harm or injury. Major causes of body injuries are intense heat, splashes of hot metals and other hot liquids, impacts from tools, machinery, and materials, cuts, hazardous chemicals, and radiations. To avoid injury or harm, it is required to provide protective clothing for parts of the body exposed to the possible injury. Types of body protection might be safety vests, aprons, jackets, coveralls, and full body suits. It depends on the nature of activity and task. Somewhere, cooling vest is enough. Somewhere, a worker need full body suit, and somewhere only the sleeves or aprons are very much enough to protect the body from harm. PPE is protecting us from harm and injuries, but it can protect only once we will care over personal protective equipment. Let us look how to protect and care personal protective equipment. Always check personal protective equipment for damage before and after you use it. Clean personal protective equipment before storing. Dispose of and replace damaged PPE and properly store PPE and avoid conditions that could damage it, such as heat, light, and moisture, etc. Provision of personal protective equipment is the responsibility of employer or any of the representative of the employer. Usually at the site, personal protective equipment is provided by the job supervisor. If performing activity and you don't have PPE, contact supervisor for PPE prior to starting the activity. Employee may be responsible for lost or damaged PPE. If you are a HSE practitioner or a site supervisor, kindly state the equipment use policy with your employees, how often PPE shall be provided, and what will happen if an employee will deliberately misuse the PPE or lost the PPE. Dear friends and fellows, you are watching Safety First, and today's topic is personal protective equipment. Let us discuss the responsibilities of an employee. Employees must use PPE in accordance with the training and instructions provided by the employer. Most job activities require the use of PPE. PPE use is a requirement of the job. If the employee cannot use the PPE, then alternative PPE must be selected and provided. The job must be modified to eliminate the hazard requiring PPE, or the employee must change jobs. Employee cannot sign waiver and accept risk of injury. Employee would not remove liability. It is unethical to knowingly place an employee in an unprotected, hazardous situation. PPE is provided to protect employee and is not intended as an inconvenience. The employer shall ensure that employees are provided and use appropriate personal protective equipment. The employer shall ensure that employees are provided and use appropriate personal protective equipment when they are exposed to hazards requiring their use. Use of personal protective equipment has been incorporated into employee work plans and will be enforced as in any other key responsibility or dimension, including disciplinary action, and may affect workers' compensation eligibility. Let us summarize. Employers must implement a PPE program where they assess the workplace for hazards, use engineering and work practice controls to eliminate or reduce hazards before using PPE, select appropriate personal protective equipment to protect employees from hazards that cannot be eliminated or avoided, inform employees why the PPE is necessary, how and when it must be worn, train employees how to use and care for their personal protective equipment, including how to recognize deterioration and failure, choose the right PPE as recommended in the risk assessment, and never try to make any tampering by their illogical mindset. Dear workers, correct use of PPE can protect you from harm and can save your lives. Personal protective equipment is designed for your benefit, for your safety. And never forget that your family is waiting for you at home. So kindly learn how to use PPE properly, effectively, and safely. At the end of the video, let us share some wise sayings. Those are all about your head, eyes, hands, feet, and the whole body. Dear fellows, hard heads protect your smart mind. Protect your head or end up dead. Your hands are your main tools. Take care of them. Protect your hands and don't forget that you cannot hold your child without your hands. 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 eyes, and 1 nose. Safety counts, and you have to remind yourself on daily basis as well. The rose is red, the sky is blue. All you know because of your eyes. There is a saying, eyes are the windows to the soul. Not only love, eyes can communicate respect, threat, interest, honesty, or boredom. Protect your eyes by using safety goggles. And lastly, I would like to say, be safe. You cannot get the life again. Training session is over now. If you have any question, please ask in the comment sections down below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your valuable time. And don't forget to like and share the video. Hope to see you soon with a new HSC tutorial. Till then, take good care. Act upon as per the contents of the presentation. Wear personal protective equipment. Keep yourself safe. Good luck and Allah Hafiz.